everybody. So, rocks fell, everyone died, so session's canceled. Welcome back to our weekly podcast. I'm here. I did say start. It's me. And I'm here with Matt.
Hey guys.
Also, rocks fall. That's the best you can do.
The next thing I said was going to be a little less PC, so I decided not to.
Okay. Yeah.
You could have just said, one of the players wanted to pet a moose and,
I should have said that. That's true. I should have talked about the moose. But yeah, I'm here with Matt, Josh, and Sam.
Really? God damn it.
What?
Still can't. Matt and Isaiah refuse to do it right anymore.
Listen, we're I don't know how many episodes in at this point. Insert
57.
number here. That one. Like, if they don't know who he is
Feels
by
like
now,
more.
then, it's fine.
I'm 2 seconds from doing that. It's me, boy, with the boys. And
It's me, Guy A, here with
me, Guy
B, and C.
A through D.
Yeah, it's me, Doug Dimma Dipshit with Doug Dimma Dipshit A, B, and C. Like,
I guess I'll take what I can get.
Oh, fuck.
Great.
So you might be wondering why I chose such a visceral start to this. This is what we're gonna call it, visceral.
Good word choice.
Yeah. And it's because I've had something floating around in my upper lobe for a little while. And that was, I had my first player character death about a month ago.
I don't think it was that long ago.
Huh?
I don't think it was that long ago.
Well, it's been at least 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because that's the last time I recorded.
Maybe.
It has been a hot minute.
Yeah, so it's been about a month since I lost the player character, and it was interesting because I'd never, this is the first one ever for me, and I just, I don't know. It was an interesting experience because I don't want my players to die, and that doesn't mean I won't kill them if I think I need to. Like, if I place challenges in front of them that I think are tough but fair, and any situation that they're in, I'm pretty sure they can get their way out of. And if it starts to look like they can't, then I will change things to make sure I don't murk them all. But this specific event was not one of those, because it was this, to give you a bit of a rundown of the situation. The players infiltrated a city on the water, like a floating city that was going through a civil war, because they were like, oh, we have to help the guys that we made a deal with so we can get the medicine we need for one of the player characters.
You still haven't blown that shit up yet? God, come on.
No. If that blows up, the game ends, Matt.
That's fine. They don't need it. They can make a new one.
They can't. Like,
Okay,
they
Matt.
cannot.
All right, whatever you say, Matt.
But anyway, they had to get into like an ecological center, like the place where the ship city grows all its food, because they have to grow out in like these big farming ships covered in soil and grass and shit. And they got caught in a booby trap, and because of the booby trap, that called in reinforcements. And then as the reinforcements were closing in on them, I was very clear, like, they're closing in on you. What do you do? And they basically were just like, nothing. Like, I was like, they're about to turn the corner. Do you do anything? And they were like, we don't know. No, I guess. And I was like, okay. And I was like, they turned the corner. They got their guns on you, and they're going to put you in cuffs. And as they were being walked out of the center that they had just fought tooth and nail to get into, Ant LP, he was like, okay, my character's a crazy powerful cryokinetic. Can I can I do like a big ice shockwave and get them to all fuck off? And I was like, yes, you could. Just be aware, this is one of those mythical damage doesn't always matter moments. If you fuck this up, there's a guy with an M4 to your head. He will, blow your muffin cap back blue twice. So, just be prepared for that. And he was like, fuck. Okay, I guess. Yeah, no, that's fine. All right, I'll do that. And then Paladin was like, hey, can I distract them by like disconnecting my robot arm and like confusing them? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. If you can succeed this, which will also be hard, you'll make Ant's life a little easier. And he went, okay, I accept that risk. And I went, okay, roll it. Paladin failed miserably. And was like, oh no. Well, Ant, now your DC just got higher because now they're suspicious. And then he failed miserably. Like it wasn't even close.
Damn.
So I was like, yeah, they unload on you. But I'm gonna dial it back a little bit. I had a player, the one who plays the Shark Man.
Yeah.
She had jumped into the game because she was working late 10 minutes before this happens. So she jumps in. I'm basically just done giving her the rundown of what's going on. Then they do the whole, we want to do the distraction. I'm like, okay, it's fine, go for it. And she DMs me with like an ability that her character has called Take One for the Team, which says if an ally is hit with an attack, you can jump in front of it. And I was like, this is perfect. This is like the perfect narrative tool. This is gonna be so good. But oh fuck, he's dead. Like he died. So of course the character in question gets lit up, and it's this really sad thing. And the interesting part is, when the character in question finally dies, you know, it's this really heavy moment. The players were like, before any of this happened, we're like, why are we even here? Like, we could just fuck off and be done. Like, this is really not our job. We were here to find them some fertile soil so they can grow crops on the mainland. What are we doing here? But the second Ty died, they were like, nope, this is personal. Everyone that we don't like dies. I'm fucking done. And I'm like, oh, baby. And they did that. They did just that. And the next session, they had a full-on funeral for that character. Like, they had all their friends, all the guys' friends come out, the family. It was like about 2/3 of the session. It was very nice. Not a dry eye was left, myself included. And I sat there being like, this has such a fascinating, profound effect that I was not expecting in the slightest, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, I this is kind of where the interactive part of this story comes in. Thanks to Josh here, I've officially lost one character total for a little while. In any game I've ever, in the 7 years I've been playing TTRPGs, you're the first person to finally accomplish it. Congratulations. Look, Cardell's been trying for a long time. He hasn't succeeded yet.
I don't like the way you came at me directly, but all right.
There's the truth. You're the only one who did it.
Fair enough. I came real close.
Take your round of applause.
I came real close in Star Wars too.
Close, but no cigar.
Sort of an intentional no cigar, but yeah.
I mean, fair enough. But have Josh, you do like not have to answer this question.
I was gonna say, you want my body count?
yeah. But the other two, have you ever lost a character in game, and like, if so, how many? And you know, bonus points if you can share what the funniest / like most interesting death that occurred was.
I think I've already shared this one.
Sam, do you want to go first? Because my answer is real short.
Oh, absolutely, Matt. I've already answered this on podcast.
Oh, Sam has answered this. Yep.
I have. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did.
So
the mirror.
My first and funniest death was when I forget the exact name of the magic item. It's basically a mirror of trapping. It just sucks things into it.
Mirror of monster something. Hold on, let me look it
something.
up.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Mirror of life trapping.
Thank you. And basically, if you speak a command word, it'll suck whatever is directly in front of it, and just put it in the mirror. And I put like a bunch of like silly monsters in it because I wanted to scare the players or whatever. They weren't supposed to do anything with it. It was a little trap. And one of my players had gotten so mad at the session because he kept rolling like shit that he triggered the trap to this mirror. He didn't get sucked in, but he just smashed the mirror because he was like, I'm fucking tired of this shit. And I'm like, as you do this, you see the like swirling vortex of just the creatures that you saw inside of it. And they were in this like small room. I want to say it was a 3x3 room, not very large. There were a few large creatures in there.
Oh.
They became a nice little meat cube. I did allow one player to escape from their fate by jumping into their bag of holding.
Yep.
Because I was like, I can't say no to this happening, but
I believe,
I'm not gonna say.
well, part of the stipulation on the bag of holding too was, can I jump in the bag of holding? Yeah, sure, but you can't get yourself out. So
yeah, that too.
somebody needs to make sure to get you out.
Yep.
And no
Within
other
the 10-minute time limit
yeah,
of air.
and none of us other players were present. So like,
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember this.
all the other players heard was a big boom from the room that they just entered, and so they open the door, and there's just a bag of holding outside of a meat cube, and it falls to the ground.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was definitely my funniest player death. I was literally like, I don't want to ignore what the magic item does, because it literally has like the stipulation that if it breaks, everything inside of it goes out.
Yep.
Because that's how like you're supposed to be like, oh, well, I don't know the command word, and my friend is stuck in here, so you smash it to get the people out.
Hey, makes sense.
Then they release the big monsters. Yeah.
yes,
It
sir.
was a good time. It was a good time.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I'm trying to think if I had any other character deaths other than Claw, and
Oh yeah, Claw.
definitely not
Bon
Barak.
Barrack.
Well, I'm Barrack. Yeah, baby. How
Yeah.
excessive long swords to the chest. Chronic long swords to the chest, baby.
Yeah, I think those are my three, which we've talked about all of them.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Well, there was the two I mentioned a couple episodes ago.
True.
Nano's character, the Bill Murray wizard, being obliterated by a red dragon. And then a minute later, Joe being stabbed to death after being crushed by, an astral sea voyager mast, crushing his legs. So, yeah, had those two. And then the only other one I could think of is way later in the campaign, Krug, the barbarian, the bearbarian, dies. But yeah, so I guess technically, I think 3, and I don't think I've ever killed anybody in like a one shot. Oh wait, oh no, wait, I have. Oh shit. Sorry, I ran. So for Halloween, I like to try and run like a bunch of different one shots for my players, and I ran one and accidentally fucked the encounter system up. And it's supposed to be like this Egyptian like little map, and a bunch of mummies come out. One of the things where it's like, oh, if you want to spike up the encounters instead of mummies, like throw in this other monster instead. I'm like, okay. The encounter was supposed to be fine for the amount of, I was supposed to have like, I think 6 players show up. I only had 3 because the other one's called out last minute.
Oh,
no.
And so my mind was like, okay, well, the encounter's still fine. I'll just take away a majority of the not mummies anymore. Yeah, I killed 2 out of 3 players
Nice.
by accident. I was just like, well, one shot's over. Oops. I felt bad because I was like, that's yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie, this was not supposed to happen. There's a whole other, this was the first room. There's a whole other dungeon left. And it basically ended with one of the players dragging the dead body of a second player, being like, all right, fuck this pyramid, we're out of here, never coming back, fuck Fantasy Egypt, I hate this.
Fuck fantasy.
God, I
Egypt.
hate it here. I want to go home.
Yeah. So yeah, shit. Yeah, I guess technically then, yeah, I've killed 5 players or characters.
That has the biggest body count.
Yeah.
Have I? Oh shit.
So
I'm
Well, except
probably.
for I'm assuming, yeah.
I think
And
I'm
then
in
as
the
a-
same range.
Yeah, and then I think as a player, I've never had a character death. Knock on wood. Like, there's been a couple close calls with the Lizard Wizard, but he's also an Abjuration Wizard, and those guys are just assholes to kill. Fucking,
those guys are just assholes.
dude, it's so dumb. It's like, all right, Arcane Ward, temporary. It's not even temporary HP, so it can stack, which I never did because I didn't feel like it was necessary. But like just the feature of the Arcane Ward, anytime you cast an Abjuration spell, so anytime someone would attack me and I'm the squishy wizard man or lizard, I'd be like, all right, shield, Arcane Ward up. So I have this totally not temporary HP of whatever my level is, all this shit. It's like, also I have shield, so my AC is +5 now. I'm the anti mega wizard. Abjuration, they're great. It's fucking, if you want to piss off dungeon masters, play an Abjuration wizard.
That or an armor artificer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so technically, I never died as a character, but as a DM, I've killed I guess 5 technically.
Okay. Hey, Josh,
Yeah.
would you like to participate in this?
I mean, I don't funniest. I don't know. I don't really like. I'm trying to remember. So I think I've got so killed a player in Stars Without Number. Did I kill someone in the first D&D game? I don't. Maybe. I don't remember. Definitely killed somebody in Apocalypse World at some point. But fuck if I can remember. I don't think anyone died in Souls of Steel. Nothing in Blades. Shadowrun, technically no, but I think if I remember correctly, someone almost died and I got real lenient with that one.
There were a few instances of that.
Yeah.
Never me though. Smile.
Star Wars.
It was never me, though.
Yeah. Star Wars, I
Listen.
think I got close. I'm trying to think. Dungeon World, definitely someone. I think the fighter character died, but I don't remember what the circumstances was on that one. Yeah, I'm trying to think anything else. Nothing else popping in. But yeah, I mean, current game, I think we've had 5 deaths or 4 deaths. I think probably the funniest one was Brett's second character, Xenophon, getting absolutely dicked on. That was probably, but that one was funny because he just got pounded into the dirt.
I mean, the best part
Those
about that was,
are always
I'm
good.
gonna cast Fireball.
Yeah.
It does nothing.
The
Wait, hold
fireball
on.
did nothing because they were all immune to fire damage. Yeah, that was
Yikes.
pretty
I'm
funny.
dead shortly afterwards.
Yeah, because in the current game, Django died, Kai died, Zephyr died, Xenophon died, Gaianis died. That's 5. And then did Kai die again? Or is it just
I
once?
don't believe so. He got
Yes.
close a few times.
So 5 in the current game, 6 for sure from Stars, and then probably somewhere in the range of like 8 to 9 of other games that I'm not remembering.
Jeez.
For me, for your personal player character most funny, it's probably Barrick for sure.
Oh, yeah. Barrick was hilarious. Yeah. Me dying as Barrick. That wasn't me killing someone, but me dying as Barrick was hilarious. Just dicked on by a house.
We got this, guys. Smack, smack, smack,
That's the part.
smack.
Yeah.
No, guys, we fucking got this. Stop being pussies. We're gonna
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
We did not.
It's like, all right, and that's 60
was almost a
10
total party
bludgeoning.
wipe,
It's like,
too.
wait a minute.
Yes, it was almost a TPK. I think the funniest thing about that one too was not only me being like, "We got this," and we definitely didn't, but also Sam going, "All right, so that's 36 damage," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm alive." And Sam goes, "All right, for the second attack," and I go, "Oh no!"
Yeah, so that's about 36 damage.
I'm like, "All right, I'm
That's
still
fine.
alive."
That's things like Okay, hold on. Let me roll for the second one. Everyone collectively.
What?
Second one.
Yeah, second attack. Yeah. I will say I will say one that was funny. This wasn't me running the game. I was a player in this game, but the Apocalypse World game I played. There was a point where one of the characters was a driver, and his car was a big, not a tractor, but I can't think of what they're called. The thing that's got the big blades in front that picks up big, huge fields of wheat.
Oh, the combine?
Yes, he was driving around a combine. And the two characters were in the combine and they got into a fight over something, and the driver character pulled the shotgun on the other character, kicked her out of the combine, and chased her down the field with a shotgun. And then glicked her in the face.
Jesus.
That was player to player, by the way. That was not an NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So funny.
That was a pretty funny one.
Come here, bitch.
Yeah. He fucking, yeah, he did some stereotypical Farmer Brown shit, chased her ass down.
I would love to know, right? Because like they're teammates. How did that go so south so quickly?
So that's the thing. In Apocalypse World, it's not assumed your teammates.
Oh.
Your people. Apocalypse World is all about not the politics, but sort of what it's like to live in the community. So like all of the players live in the same area and exist together, but it is not assumed that they are friends or teammates. The only assumption Apocalypse World makes is the player characters know each other in some capacity. It could be good or bad. So like you can start a game and hate one of the other player characters based on the questions at the beginning of the game when you do character creation. So these two characters were not friends, no, or allies in any way. They were trying to potentially work together at some point, and then it went south. I don't remember why it went south either, but yeah, it went south. So
that really is the fucking Ron Burgundy. Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it is also worth pointing out, though, in Apocalypse World, a character has to die 4 times before they're totally off the table.
Yes.
So the character was not gone. The character just came back fucked up.
Just defaced.
No, so we sort of, because of the way, so when you die in Apocalypse World, you take, you have an option. There's like 3 options. The 4th one is just, you're dead. But you have 3 options that are like, you come back a little weirder, take +1 weird. You come back different than you were before, come back as a different playbook, or you come back with something else or something like that. There's like a 3rd one. I don't remember exactly what it is. So we sort of intentionally kept it ambiguous. Like the glickied in the face part, we intentionally kept ambiguous so the character could come back however the player felt like, basically.
Yeah.
I don't remember which ones. Yeah, here we go. You come back when life becomes untenable, is the phrase. You come back with -1 hard. You come back with +1 weird. You come back, you change to a new playbook. The 4th one is just you die. I think she did -1 hard because she got fucked up.
Yeah, there's about a larger fucking attitude than there was 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Nice. Fair enough.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny one. But that was not me. Yeah, that wasn't me running a game. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing particularly. Usually me killing a player is like, it's always in like a combat scenario. I've never really had it where it's been like wacky fictional antics. Although,
or like a trap or something where it's like, all right, pull the lever, Crunk, pit trap.
Although we did have, when we were playing the Sprawl, there was a point where Sam, you might remember this, where one of our fellow players fell out of an air duct vent into like a room with a guard, and basically did the scene where you fall down from the ceiling and look up at the guns pointing in your face. Yeah, that happened to him.
Oh,
that almost went real bad because not only did he have to deal with that guard dude, which he did not do very well, he also had to get out of the building.
Yeah.
And then Sam's character had to save his ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
You may see a running theme with any game that has to do with cyberpunk setting, where I build a character and they work fine, and everybody else builds a character and they work.
That particular scenario wasn't necessarily a bad character build so much as a bad decision making and
bad decision
and unlucky rolls.
Yeah.
Also the events like, this is an Albuquerque.
There is a lot that could have gone better with that entire sequence.
I mean, there was for sure. This was also the character who was the hacker, so they probably shouldn't have been in that situation. So
every time I think about the hacker, I think about what was set up.
Yeah, underclock.
Your name is Overclock, more like Underclock.
Yep. Yep. Because that was his hacker name, Overclock, and then he fucked up a few times, and we all called him Underclock. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, I mean, my second question, it seems to not really pertain to really anyone. Like, I mean,
Cheers.
if you lost your if you did lose a character as a player, how did it affect you? And I know for you, you literally couldn't give a fuck.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I care. Like, I cared when Claude died. I was like, ah, damn. But, like, I don't get super deep into it. Barrack didn't affect me at all because I didn't have long enough to really give a shit on that one.
It was like a session and a half or something?
Yeah.
No,
A session.
Yeah, that one wasn't long enough for me to get real attached.
See, that's like a green
buried
text video I
himself?
can see.
Yeah, yeah.
Buried himself, walked out the door, got murdered.
Yeah, buried my last character, died with my second character.
Fuck.
Yep.
Showed up on the third day with his third character and went, what the fuck happened to that guy?
Yes, sir.
I just remember being like, "Hey, Josh, do you want to bury yourself?" And he said, "Okay." And
I said, yeah, let's do it.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
it's not
fantastic.
like I don't give a shit sounds like, big whatever. It's not that, but like, yeah, I don't get like super deeply emotional about it. I was a little sad about Claw dying because there was some more I kind of wanted to do with him, but whatever.
That's fair. Matt, you said, didn't lose a character.
No, I've never lost a character. I haven't. Well, again, I don't have that many player characters.
Hey, Matt, you want to join my game?
Yeah, yeah, I can find
I won't-
my Dragonborn Druid and then just get fucking giant building
Because
smash
you
on
say,
him.
Josh, are you sure? Because he wants to play Kermit DeBard. Don't
That's
forget
fine.
Oh
that.
yes, I forgot about Kermit the Bard. Yeah.
It won't matter if I kill him in 2 sessions.
Hey, you
True.
fellow adventurers.
I'll just what was the kobold? 11 days.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
Critical Role
fuck,
thing,
what was
yeah.
his name?
Can't remember his name, but I'll just do that to Matt.
Yeah. Grungs
Nice,
only
nice,
live
nice.
11 days. It's fine.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
11 days to make my, Rainbow Connection album gets yeeted by a fire giant.
Yep.
How old are you? 11 days. How long do kobolds usually live? 11 days.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I love Chris Perkins.
Squirt, Squint. What the hell was that character's name?
Yeah.
Spurt, I think.
Spurt. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was.
I like how
That's
he
a
literally
good
just
kobold name.
It's a good.
they just
kobold.
handed him the
Kobold
the
Inventor.
Kobold inventor stat
Yeah,
block,
yeah,
the one that
just
has like a
handed-
giant backpack of shit.
Yep.
Like, oh, what's this scoop? That was my brother. Oh god.
He was the fucking rat on a stick once and fucking exploded.
Yep.
Anybody, even if you don't like Critical Role, like, whatever your
That was a good
feelings on that
episode.
show are, it doesn't fucking matter. That's one of the funniest clips in fucking actual play history. Just the short, violent life of Spurt the Kobold.
I think he was there for literally 30 minutes.
like 30 minutes or less.
Nice.
Amazing.
A glorious death through
Yeah,
a jar
I-
of bees at a fire giant.
Yeah,
Instantly mushed.
Yeah, I think the super cut is like 3 minutes or something. It's super
Oh
short.
my god.
Yeah, it's real
great.
bad.
Oh,
Hold on,
fuck.
I'm actually gonna check Spurt the Kobold super
But,
cut.
I'd say.
But yeah, I've never, I mean, again, the Lizard Wizard, he's, again,
He's graced
that
the
I built
tingies
him.
of death.
I didn't, yeah, I think he's only gotten knocked out once. And I think that was because of, like we were, again, Storm King's Thunder. We're going from one town to another with a big caravan. Frost Giants just fucking start raiding the caravan. Me, I'm like, okay, I'll stay in the, like, I did the dumb thing and split the party. I'm the squishy wizard way in the back of the caravan. The rest of the party are in the front of the caravan. And I'm like, don't worry, guys, I'll cover the rear. And they're like, are you sure, Matt? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry, I got this. I'm a wizard. I'm fine. I can handle
I'm a
it.
wizard. I can.
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
wizard.
a wizard. I'm fine.
Can't believe you
Frost
lied to
Giant
them like
comes
that.
over. claps my ass, and I'm like, oh! Literally, like one shots me, no shield. Shield couldn't do shit. I fucking out. And I think in Storm King's Thunder they give giants like extra like abilities. And I think the Frost Giant had the one where like if they hit you with a move, they just send you flying, like that one scene in Hellboy where he's fighting the three giants. So
Yeah.
I go flying, I'm crumpled, I'm broken, I'm a lizard wizard, and I'm just like, well, you know, I've had a good run.
It's been a good run.
Good run of 4 levels, 5 levels, 6 levels, whatever I'm. And luckily, my team was able to save me before I died.
Before you exploded.
Yeah, because they literally just see this Frost Giant destroying the caravan, baseball, like a golf ball, fucking hit me across the map, and they're like, all right, well, we gotta go save Matt. Also, goddamn it.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder how Matt's doing. Ah,
Yeah.
flies in the distance. I'm like, oh well, I guess he's getting fucked.
I think the best part too was because in Lost Mines of Phandelver there's the character Droop, the little goblin. A lot of people like it's supposed to just be a friendly NPC. My lizard wizard ended up adopting him as his apprentice.
God damn it.
So literally goblin like wizard. It's like, all right, master, go get the Frost Giant. You got this. I'm like, yeah, don't worry, kid. I'm a wizard. Fucking
Don't worry, kid, I'm a wizard.
just sees me just fucking Team Rocket's blasting off again into the distance.
Fuck.
I can't believe you turned that kid into a fighter lover.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, kid. Just,
That's my closest I've come to character death.
Oh my god! I just there what that reminds me of have you guys seen the animated Justice League movie War or Justice League Dark?
No, I've
No.
seen clips though.
The one where Green Lantern gets fucked.
No.
He goes he's fighting like Darkseid's parademons, or it's when Darkseid and the parademons rock up and he goes, sit back and enjoy the light show, guys. Big Green's got this.
Oh, yeah,
and
then he beats
flies
his
up
ass.
and punches him, and his
Yep.
construct explodes on Darkseid's face.
Yep.
And Darkseid just backhands him into a building, and the parademons just drop down and punch him while he's
Yep,
down.
yep.
He accidentally gets bully beat down. So
Yeah, he
bad.
gets JoJo'd a little bit.
Yeah, it's real bad. And I just love the sit back and enjoy the light show. Big Green's got this.
Yep.
He, in
Nice.
fact, did not have this.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised
I have
by
not
this.
watched that movie, but I know that scene.
It's
Yeah.
really good, actually. All of those movies are fantastic. Wasn't a fan of the last one, but you know.
Yeah,
Everyone died.
the demons coming in real quick and just punching the shit out. It literally looks like a meme. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it does. It's fantastic.
They just jump into bang, bang, bang. It's a great clip.
They also use the best canned punch sounds for
Yep,
it.
yep.
Like,
Yep. It looks like a meme. It like doesn't look like a real scene.
no, not at all.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god. And Sam, like you said, you
yep, no character death so far.
nope. So
Oh, we'll
Damn
see
it.
about
I'm
how
trying
long that
hard.
lasts,
I'm
but-
trying hard, Sam. Don't you worry, bud.
What?
Damn.
noticed.
Fucking
Yeah. I may or may not have bullied the shit out of Sam last session.
yeah, he is Sam got fucking I lift these
Okay.
up and put them down
You
on a
got the
gargantuan level.
Inogo treatment.
Yes.
A
a little bit, yeah.
It's fine. I took the tough feat for a reason.
It was also hilarious.
There you go.
Matt, it was also hilarious because my players fought an ancient shadow dragon, and he did the shadow breath on turn 1,
Yeah.
and they all failed and were all incapacitated. So he just got another turn.
Yep.
Nice.
It's fucking rude, is what it was.
And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and I rolled. Hey, he got his breath weapon back.
yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yes, he did.
Oh fuck, it's great.
I went, we got this too. Oh no. Two.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Isn't that like the best in D&D? Like, looking back in the moment, it sucks, but looking back at it,
In the
it's
moment, it was
funny. It's
amazing.
like,
What are you talking
you know,
about?
Yeah, guys, this
for
is just
you.
like, guys,
Yeah.
don't worry, we got this. It's like it's just a shadow dragon, no problem. Incapacitated. Guys, don't worry, I
literally
got this.
said-
I'm a wizard. Gets fucking yeeted by a giant.
Oh, no.
Like,
No.
It's always these moments in D&D. It's
Suddenly,
great.
I don't got this.
Absolutely not. Matt, he went, damn, this group that has been fucking with every encounter that I've ever designed, I finally got one.
I actually so I had the moment of my players had the moment of oh no, and I had the moments of Lamau. The boss after Ty died, who was like, basically Solid Snake, which is like this super commando character, had a retaliate ability where if you hit him with a melee attack and missed, he like CQC'd your ass, and he could do like a it's the lingering injuries from GM Binder. He could inflict one of the bludgeoning type ones for 24 hours. So one of the NPCs ran up, swung once with a hatchet, missed, broken arm, swung again, missed, broken arm, and I was like, wow, this is unfortunate.
This is the Monty Python Black Knight. It's like, it's a flesh wound.
Yeah,
like, oh.
yeah, it was bad. And then like immediately Moon's character went swinging, arm shattered, and I was like, yo, please. This man just like, the joke is, oh, we take knees. No, my man just took elbows for an entire fight.
Oh yeah, the knee tendies. That was a classic.
He took Brett's knees. He kicked Brett's character's knee in, and I was like, oh, buddy. Yeah, he. Despite the fact that it was one dude, one slightly stronger dude, and his 4 goobers, they did a number. They stunned the like main lackey for like 6 turns.
Nice.
They just had an ability as like, so they had an ability called blue screen, which is like you you take something and you throw it at somebody and be like, ooh, like think fast, chuckle nuts, and they just get enamored by it. The actual in like universe reason is he took a walkie-talkie and beamed the dude in the nose with it at like point blank. But I didn't realize that the fine print at the very, very bottom of the thing, after like it's like a wall of text, this tiny little fucking thing at the bottom is like, they're no longer stunned if they take damage. Just that. You gave me all this text, and I of course I didn't read the final sentence. So for like 6 rounds, he got some beefy shit on him and just didn't get to use any of it. And then he was unstunned for 1 round, made a pretty good hit, and then exploded again. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. There goes Marco. That being said, I guess since I'm the only person who said a character, no, sorry, that's true. I'm the only person who was like, oh, my character died. Honestly, I had a nice wide range of emotions, because first I was in denial, as you know, you usually are. You're like, I can't, no, surely not. Like, surely I'm not actually dead, right? And then a few rounds went by and I was like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, fuck. And then I got really annoyed. Like, I got mad and I was like, well, how the fuck could we have survived this? This is bullshit. I just started like mauling in my seat for about 20 minutes. And then after that, I kind of was like, bruh, like, we really just got fucking clowned. Like, I speed ran the Faces of Grief, and at the end I was like, damn, I got fucked. That was so good.
When you killed your player?
No, when Django died.
Oh. Yeah.
No. When Ty died, I was like, this is gonna be so interesting for the narrative, but like, damn, I wish it didn't have to come to this. When Django died, I sped ran the Faces of Grief in about 30 minutes, and by the end I was like, damn, dude, this sucks, but that was kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. I did also. It was a good time. Django did also get ground and pounded.
He did. Really, it was Kai getting charmed and then him getting double teamed. That was like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Off tank is fucking me now. God damn it.
Yeah.
You know, as off tank is want to do. Just there to make my life harder.
No.
You know, it doesn't matter if you're talking about tabletop or, you know, MMOs. It happens every time.
Yep. This is an irrefutable law of the universe.
No, off tank was born to fuck you.
God, this is a side thing. I remember my first time I did Ramu Extreme. And we had this one guy who was main tanking, and the guy who was off tanking. I don't exactly remember what the mechanics for Ramu Extreme are, but I know you need an off tank for something. And he just kept fucking it up. Like, if he wasn't grabbing aggro at the start, despite being like, I'm off tank, and immediately doing his provoke, and we just sat there like, what? Doing? We died twice to Ramu Extreme, and he was like, I can't play with players who suck, and quit. And we were like, all right, bye. And then he was immediately
Bye,
replaced by far the widest, girthiest gunbreaker I'd ever seen. And his name was Tharn, and he was so Chadley because he rocked him, guys. And he rocked him, was like, "Hey guys, is it cool if I off tank?" And we were like, "Sure, dude. We just lost ours." And he goes, "All right, cool, thanks." And then immediately provokes, and we were like, "No!"
Oh my god.
What the fuck is happening?
Oh, they're all
And
idiots.
then we wiped again.
Yep.
And then the second time he was like, "Oh, my bad. I don't know why I did that." We were like, "Oh, really?
I don't know why I did that.
Because we don't know either. Why did you do that, Tharn?"
What a response. I don't know why I did that.
I'm just
Fuck.
surprised you remember his name.
Because he was so
Imprinted
wide,
on his
Sam.
brain.
You don't understand. He was such a chungus that I can't forget him.
This is just reminding me of having bad healers, and I don't have the capacity to remember all of their names. I'm gonna be honest.
But does it remind you of magnets?
No, that'll never leave.
the magnets?
Good. How did they work?
Hey Matt, do you know how magnets work?
I just assume it's some sort of black magic. You know?
Yeah, you know what? That's the right answer,
know-
Matt.
Yeah.
That's the answer that everybody else would give. So it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn it.
Death in 14 isn't permanent, but it definitely takes a piece of me every time I have to revive someone.
God damn. I remember us playing, I know we have to get back, but I remember us playing Aurum Vale. We were doing grinding, and then Sam Resme went, "That's your one." And I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "Yeah, no, that's your one. That's the only time I'm resing you." And I was like, "Wait, but I died by something that was not my fault." And he went,
Shame.
"Yeah, and that was your one."
Everybody gets one. Thanks, Spidey.
Yep. It's like, "Thanks, bud."
Fucking shame.
I don't think you died again.
Do what again? Be like, "That's your one"?
No, I don't think you died again. That's
No, I don't think I did.
See, you took it to heart.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Sometimes you just have to be firm but fair.
Yeah, me gets killed because guy takes the stupid umber fruit thing, and then Sam being like, "Well, you fucked up, kid." This is the same shit as you guys not respecting my lane of fire in fucking Darktide. Me being like, "You taking the ammo as well," and you're like, "Well, which aim better, forehead?" Fuck.
It's not the same thing, but okay.
I genuinely can't complain about being shot in Darktide because, big target. So, yeah.
I don't use guns.
True.
What's a gun?
Yeah, exactly. You mean stick, magic space stick, right?
Oh,
Sure.
I have big stick and
You
big,
still have to
big
aim the
metal
magic
sheet.
space stick.
Yeah, I still have to aim, but I don't need bullets. I don't need
Matt,
ammo.
don't you know that stabs are just magic guns?
All right, let's get off this. We sound like idiots.
Okay, this is one that Josh, I think you have quite a bit to say on.
Oh God, no, don't.
What game system do you think handles character death in the most interesting way?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He went from God no to wait, no, hold on. I have thoughts for this.
Everyone take a shot.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I like the mechanic for Apocalypse World a lot, but I think it's worth pointing out. So, Dungeon World also kind of has a fun one because you make a last breath roll, and that can have some fun implications. Just by nature of being powered by the Apocalypse move system. But yeah, I mean the Apocalypse World
Especially when you're
one
mad.
is fun because A, you have to die a couple of times, so you can kind of do some crazy shit every once in a while. B, the implication is that your character comes back different, so it's not like a non-factor, right? Your character comes back different in some way. And also it fits the vibe of an apocalyptic setting where someone sort of dies like off screen or in a weird way or something crazy happens and then they come back with a fucking, like robo arm or some shit and everyone's like, how did you survive? That's very on genre. That being said, that same kind of system I don't think you can apply to everything. I
I agree.
don't, for example, because me and Sam talked about this a long time ago. Shadowrun has a
I hate this so much.
yeah. Shadowrun has a stat in the game that's sort of like a luck stat. I forget exactly. Well, 5th edition Shadowrun. I don't know if this is in other editions or not. And I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's sort of
Fate?
Edge.
Is it Fate?
It's Edge.
Edge. Okay.
It's Edge
There's-
points. I don't
Fate
know.
is the Star Wars one, isn't it?
Sort of. Yeah, Fate's. Yeah, Star Wars calls it the Force die, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So Edge in Shadowrun lets you. It basically it gives you you can spend it for bonuses and stuff, but also, one of the things you can spend it on is to tell the GM to fuck off and you just don't die. Even if you've been literally shot point blank in the head with a shotgun, you can spend Edge and just say, no, I don't die.
Just pull a Boromir moment. You're like, no.
Yeah, and then the GM has to...
No, like, don't die at all.
No, you don't die at all.
Oh.
You live. Even if it makes absolutely zero. The bad guy could shove a grenade down your throat and you can spend an Edge point and live.
You just punch yourself
And
in the
then-
gut, retch it up, and run away.
And then the GM has to somehow figure out
It's like,
why or how.
the grenade was a dud. Oh,
Yeah.
have fun pooping that out later, bud.
Well, the problem is you would have to spend the Edge points after you knew you died, which means all the damage and everything resolved. So,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So the grenade exploded and you somehow still lived. So
fascinating.
the
All
main
the shrapnel exploded outwards, missing every vital organ.
yeah. So the reason that's
Bye-bye.
more of a problem in Shadowrun is because it's not interesting because all it does is just negate whatever happened, and that's fucking boring, which Apocalypse World does not do. Also, Apocalypse World very specifically says when you die, you can't come back immediately. You know, you have to be gone for a while and come back like next session, next couple of scenes, something like that. The GM is supposed to turn away from you, right? So you can't just die and then immediately get back up. You have to be off screen for a while and then come back in a more dramatic moment, basically. Whereas Shadowrun, it's literally just, no, I just negate whatever just happened. So yeah, not exciting, but also in a cyberpunk setting, that's kind of weird and off-brand because part of the point of like a cyberpunk thing is like lethality and you could die at any minute, and that's part of the rush of being like a runner in a cyberpunk setting, right? Is like shit's dangerous. So it's very weird to just be like, no, I don't think I will. So yeah. Blades of the Dark also actually the death. Well, so Blades. Yeah, actually, no. Now that I think about it, Blades of the Dark has some very interesting ideas because Blades of the Dark, while you are dying, which is to say when you're at like 3 harm, you can still do shit. It's just hard, and you have to spend stress, and you'll eventually basically run out of energy. But you can still do shit for a while, so that's pretty fun. But then also, if you die in the Blade setting, you could become a ghost. And if you become a ghost, you could you could play as a ghost. There's a ghost playbook, so that's pretty lit.
Yep.
You can possess someone's body and become a vampire, because that's how you make vampires in Blades. Or your teammate can make you like steampunk suit and put you in the robot. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And there's all sorts of like crazy special rules you have to deal with if you are a ghost vampire or an automaton. I forget what they call the robot dudes. So yeah, that Blades of the Dark, that's a pretty good one too. And what was the other? I feel like there's one other one I'm not thinking of. Those are I think the main ones. I'm trying to think. Look at the old book. I will say actually, a lot of people mention that D&D's like dying and death mechanics are shitty, right? And they're not great, but I think there's a really good kernel of an idea for the dying mechanics in D&D. Like, there is a fun tension to like, all right, everybody pause what you're doing. It's the player who's dying's turn. Everybody looks. The dice hit the table. Everyone looks at the number. All right, it's a 10. We're good. It's a 10. It's a 10. Everybody, everyone declares it's a 10. It's a 10. We're good. We're good. Everybody rolls. First roll goes. It's a 2. Everyone goes, like there's good moments there. So like, I don't hate it inherently. It's just the problem with that is it's fun for everyone else. It's not fun for the player who's dying.
Yeah, because it's like you have to wait. It's basically you lose a turn.
You
The only
lose
thing you do is you roll this.
You
dice.
lose a turn, and then everyone's staring at you like you're in a cage
You're
at
on
the
the
zoo.
spot. Yeah.
So it's
But I
kind
will
of
say there's also the added stress of, okay, they did actually die. Now we have to worry about how we revive them, if we even can.
Mhm.
Like, you know, if you have the revival spells, it's just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but again, you know, I there's an idea there. I think there's some potential there. It's funny, XP to level 3 made a video not that long ago that was talking about how he hated the dying rules and how he hated, he was actually complaining about conditions like stunned, which is a whole other thing. And he came up with this system where, and he's using it in his Strixhaven game, which, so we'll see how it plays out.
Oh
But
god, he's still in Strixhaven? What?
no, he just started the Strixhaven game. They only had the first session.
Oh, he did? Wait. Oh, what the fuck?
They've been talking about it because they've been planning it, but it hasn't.
Oh,
The
I'm
game
confusing
did not
with the
start.
one shots he ran. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's a different thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Strixhaven
okay, bye.
campaign just started. But he was so the rule he's using, and I don't know if I like this or not, but you know, it's an idea. Was like when you're dying, you could still do actions and shit, but they cost levels of exhaustion, and then he's using the 10-point exhaustion from 1D&D. So you essentially have, 9 points to burn till that 10th one.
Okay.
And it was like an action cost 3 points, a bonus action cost 2, and like a move or something cost 1, something along those lines. I don't know if I'm 100% on board for that idea, but it's an interesting idea. You know, he's kind of, sort of, I think you can also choose to not do anything was part of it. There's a little kernel of an idea there for sure. So
does he still, because I don't think I finished the video. Does he still like have you roll a death save?
yeah,
At all?
so I don't remember exactly how it works. I don't remember if it's either if you choose to do nothing, you roll the death save. If you choose to do something, you don't roll the death save, but that gives you another turn or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that part. But, point being, he's playing with the idea, and I think it does point out that, 5E's, dying mechanics, there's a little something there. I do think a big problem 5E has, though, is the fact that you could just yo-yo forever. And I do wish they would do something about that. Because
I know in my game I homebrewed the whole because my players thought it would be too rough if the first time you go down you get exhausted. So we have it in our group homebrew rule that the second time you go down in combat, then you start getting levels of exhaustion every time you get knocked out.
That's okay. The problem is exhaustion rules as they currently work. The first level doesn't fucking matter. The second level's annoying. The third level is oh shit. So there's kind of a disparity of that first level of exhaustion. You're like, oh no, I went down a second time. I got a level. Oh wait, that doesn't do anything. I don't care. Right. So that's why if the exhaustion system was utilized in the game more, I think that idea of gaining exhaustion from going down would be a lot better. But because the game uses it so little, it becomes kind of like it's too mean. It's like the third time you go down, now it's too aggressive, but the first 2 times it's not aggressive enough. There's a weird ramp up, So yeah, I don't know that because that's part of the reason I think they were looking at changing the exhaustion with the 1D&D playtest to the 10 levels thing so they could utilize it more. And then plus that's just a stacking progression of -1s. So every, it has a good easy linear progression as opposed to the weird exponential ramp that exhaustion has.
Yeah. I could definitely see them adding effects to spells that'll add or take or subtract exhaustion, or the new ones.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I hope they retake a look at that. We'll see. But yeah, the yo-yo dying in 5e is definitely annoying.
Yeah.
Pathfinder just makes it every time you go down, every subsequent time you go down, you're more likely to die permanently. Basically makes your death roll shittier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For me, right, the thing that I would have preferred, and this is a pretty simple change to the way that they do death in 5e, is I just don't like the unconscious thing. Because if you're already incapacitated, right, you can't take actions, you can't you lose all your concentrations, you can't do anything if you're incapacitated. So the fact that you can't even react to the world around you. You're just sleeping through it. You know what I mean?
Well, lucky you, Isaiah, because the designers are on your team with that one because they're changing it.
Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah, they're changing they're changing the condition situation when you're dying.
Perfect. It's actually this will go into something I was going to ask later on.
I don't know how it's going to look exactly, but they're definitely looking at it.
Damn it. If I was going to put my 2 cents in, hilariously enough, I also will be talking about Powered by the Apocalypse.
Oh shit!
With Monster Hearts. I think Monster Hearts handles
You can
death-
die in
handles-
Monster Hearts?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could.
Yeah, you can. They talk about it. I haven't read the rules in a while, but
I
like,
assumed it was like masks.
no, you can like die. They very specifically talk about like a really dramatic way to end an arc is for like a character who's resolved their part to like, you know, walk out, get shot by a mystery villain, and then die in the street. And you're like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the basically, if you don't know, and to those of you who don't know, Monster Hearts is a game a game in which you play as a
Horny vampires.
a horny monster in a high school or college, and the whole point of the game is to sort of explore your psychology and the fact that you are just different than everybody else and are putting up a mask, if you will, to try to hide in civilized, or not really civilized, but normal society. It was made by it is a very thinly veiled trans allegory, and a very good one at that. The creator is trans, and it's just a really cool game that I would recommend supporting because it's really fun. Or not, if I haven't played it, it's not fun, but it looks really fun.
It's also
and I want to play it really bad.
It's also a well-designed Powered by the Apocalypse hack. Because who baby are there lots of shit ones?
True. And just the way that they handle death is really interesting because you can play, for example, as a ghost, and they specifically say, well, you just can't die because you're a ghost. You're already dead.
Yeah.
But one of the things it recommends is like, if you like your death can come from resolving the source of what kills you, or like finding your killer and bringing them to justice, or coming to peace with something before you died, like losing your regrets. And then you pass on, right? But like that's the only way you can die. And they talk about how the ghosts, basically one of the things that the ghost is sort of there to do is die eventually.
Right.
So the fact that you can't be killed is like a punishment.
Right.
The ghoul, the whole thing with the ghoul is that no matter what you do, no matter how many times you die, you always resurrect, but you come back less of a person than you were. And the ghoul is like to the fucking weebs out there. You like crave human flesh. You look like a normal person, but you've got like super strength and you don't feel pain and all that stuff.
The ghoul is very Tokyo-esque, if you will.
Yeah. You can die.
I don't like the way you said that.
Look, I was trying to go past it, but
nope.
I was trying to let it go past without saying anything.
I refuse.
You fucked us both, Sam. The cool thing about the ghoul, like I said, you can't die. Unless, I think it says the only way you can die is if you are like obliterated. Like if you get blown up in an explosion, then you can die because there's nothing left to like regenerate.
Classic.
But they also mention that that's very unlikely.
Yeah. Given the setting.
There are some other interesting ones, like vampire. It says you can be killed, but it's very difficult unless it's sunlight. I think even a stake to the heart is like the typical vampire, like
you're stunned.
You just become stunned. Yeah.
Wouldn't yield stasis.
Yeah. So
Not at all, boy.
I just really like the way that the game specifically treats death at times like the goal.
Yeah.
Right. Like finding peace or whatever you want to call it, and like living is the punishment.
Well, and also the fact that it has sort of specialized. I don't know if they're necessarily rules, but at the very least, specialized statements about how each of the various types of monsters would handle death.
True.
Because that's very in line with the fiction in question.
I did so. I made my character for Monster Hearts because I was gonna be in a game. It just never really ended up going anywhere for no real reason. It just like we're going to start this day. And then like a week before, it was like, okay, guys, we're going to push it back a little while. And then a little while became forever.
Silence. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really bizarre. But yeah, I remember like my character was it was basically, it was Nico from Vampire the Masquerade, like pretty much the same backstory and everything. For reference, Nico is like in Vampire the Masquerade, it's like a non-binary nightclub owner. Huh?
Toreador?
Oh yeah. Right? Like a non-binary nightclub owner who's a Toreador, and his whole thing is he wants to make like a safe haven for the vampires in the nightclub, and I think it takes place in Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah, Nico's basically the same, except you swapped out vampire for ghost, and is in like a 19-year-old kid in high school, or 18-year-old kid in high school. And yeah, this whole thing was he had to find out who moited him, because he got moited in the street, and then one of the other players was a witch and took a lock of his hair for a spell, and that's one of the things anchoring him to the place, and the witch character was like, nope, not giving you this hair.
Does it have Apocalypse World style preemptive session 0 questions for each characters?
Yes, it's very in-depth. So like every character, I think they're called strings or ties or something. I can't. Right. And each character has a number of these things that you can hold over other characters, and you can trade them in for things.
Yeah.
So
it's history from Apocalypse World.
Yeah, and the witch specifically is really cool because you can use them as part of your spells. So it's like you're oath bound to me. I have control over you for like one command or something. It's also interesting because in Monster Hearts you can like monster out if you experience too much stress.
Yeah. You go fucking blood rage.
yeah. The ghost one is cool because your physical body dissipates and everything in the room just goes to shit. Like things get thrown,
you
people
turn
get
to a
smashed
poltergeist?
around. Yeah.
Nice.
And the only way you can come out of it is if someone can talk you down, or you can make a really, really difficult roll to roll cool and like calm down.
Nice.
I really want to play Monster Hearts. Fuck, that game is so cool.
Now you're making me want to play Monster Hearts.
Yeah. There's a spin-off, not really, but kind of. It's the Fooly Cooly tabletop that I also want to play. That handles. It's not death because they specifically say, you're playing like 11 to 14-year-olds in an otherwise normal town. You don't die typically, but your character, like, the whole thing with Fooly Cooly and Never Knows Best is that your character is like striking out against the establishment that they believe to be oppressing them or trying to change them as they figure out who they are as they grow up. So by dying, you don't die, you just sort of accept and fade in with the crowd, and you're like, oh, that's like more real than I like.
Side note, I didn't realize the person who made Monster Hearts is the same person who made The Quiet Year, so they get banger points in my book.
What's The Quiet Year?
The Quiet Year is a GM-less. It's sort of it's a role-playing game, but not in the traditional sense. So everyone sort of has you're building up a community based on a bunch of prompts from you draw from a standard deck, and there's prompts related to the deck, and you go through the various seasons and you keep adding stuff to the community, and each of the players is sort of adding their little tidbits from the prompts you're getting, and it's sort of like a building. It's more like a Fiasco or a Paranoia type thing where you're like building up like a world or a setting together. And a lot of people use The Quiet Year actually as a preemptive session 0 game to their Apocalypse World game, because you build up the little crazy community and then they play in it.
Oh, that's fucking cool. I like that.
Yeah, The Quiet Year's. I played it like once, but it's very good.
Oh, I will throw in one extra one as an honorable mention for how death is handled in the Evangelion hack of Dark Heresy.
Oh, Jesus.
Adeptus Eva, because they added, time for some nerd lore. In the series Neon Genesis Evangelion, the only way you can pilot your giant rage beast human being covered in restricting armor is by synchronizing with it, like syncing your brain to its brain. And if you are in a poor mental state, or you're depressed, or your heart's just not in it, your synchronization ratio is this, like, you know, the imaginary metric they use to see how good you are or how proficient you can be, how synced up you are with your giant human rage beast. They talk about how you can suffer psychological attacks from the angels or physical attacks. And if you like get knocked out in combat, you might have like a broken arm or a concussion. You're unlikely to die from like physical damage, but psychological attacks you cannot heal from, no matter what. So the game says like use them sparingly, and there are ways by which you can resist the psychological attacks. But I love the way that they specifically state like there's no coming back from this. Like your mental state is in constant decline here, and you just got to make it. You have to try to make it to the end of the story without losing your pilot. And it's a little fucked, right? Because it's Ava. And they're like, if your pilot traumas out, whatever happens to them is up to the country that employs them. And I immediately was like, whoa, I don't like that. I don't like that they're like, yeah, get in the bag. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fucked. Yeah. Yeah. There's that one. Let's see. This one, I mean, the next question I have is kind of tied to the second question. For those of you who have killed players, how did it affect you, and how did the party take it? Actually, how did it affect you? Yeah, but how did the party take it?
Well, unfortunately, my most recent game, the players that are dead aren't actually dead, or the characters. Characters that are dead aren't dead because they came back to life for reasons that were unclear, although I think you guys have sort of connected the dots at this point.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so like, well, I guess the first time was pretty heavy, actually, now I'm thinking about it. When Django, because Django was the first one to die, right? So in the current, you know.
Yep.
So Django goes down, and I guess from what I remember, that was kind of a heavy thing, and everyone being like, oh, okay. Shit, what do we do? All right, we got to figure out what we're doing with Django's body. Also, we have nowhere. Also, we just got our ass beat, and we need to, like, my players ended up hiding out in the camp of the dude who they attacked because he fucked off and they had nowhere else to go at the moment. And they were all beat up, so they're like, all right, we're going to stay here, basically. So there was definitely some heaviness there. And, you know, Isaiah, the interpretation I got from you was like, oh shit, didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, that was the denial phase.
Yeah. And then I think what happened shortly after was there was some player intrigue immediately after, as I was like, all right, Isaiah, you just slide over this other chat with me real quick. And then the subsequently, what was it? Kai was the next character to die. And at that point, he went down, and it was still like, oh fuck, someone died. But the situation was much more like, all right, everybody, wait, hold on. Maybe there's more to this. Let's not freak out yet. Although Django panicked, but Django's a robot, so he didn't panic in the normal sense of the word. But I do remember Django being like, I am having feelings about this, but I do not know what these are. I do not know what feelings are.
Yeah. Django was like pick him up. Why isn't he getting up? What's going on?
Yeah, why isn't he working? Yeah, so that time the players were like, okay. Then the third time when Zafir died, it went like, all right, no, hold on. We know how this works. Okay. I think we're good. We're definitely good this time. So that, you know, it's been kind of interesting to see the changing reaction over the various times. Although when you were playing your secondary characters and the two players died, everyone collectively went, oh shit. Because I didn't know what to do either. Because that one happened, I went, this was not part of the plan. The encounter ended up being way wilder than I was planning. So I was kind of sitting there like, oh shit, okay. And I distinctly remember that one was kind of funny because my players were sitting there like, all right, so now what? And I went, all right, we're gonna take 10 minutes because I need to have me a think real quick. I'll be back.
I need to have a minute alone.
Yeah. And I
Need to
literally
look at
did.
the
I
deep
literally,
notes.
I literally walked away for a few minutes and like thought about what the plan was, and then I had a really fucking good idea, and I was like, all right, doing this. So that was interesting. As far as the other main one, I remember Stars Without Number. When I can't remember the character's name, but when he died, it was definitely a scenario that it was like everyone was a little surprised because it didn't seem like it wasn't the type of like mission or scenario where it seemed likely anyone was gonna die, but things just kind of started going badly. And I think the general reaction was like, all right, well, fuck, that's kind of inconvenient. I don't know what to do now. So, yeah. Those are the main ones I remember.
All right. Or Sam?
I just remember everybody laughing because someone got crushed by a meat cube.
Meat cube?
I,
Well, also everyone laughing
Flaw
when
was-
I got 8 long swords to the chest.
I
Did laugh, yeah.
That was pretty funny.
After we talked specifically about long swords
Yes.
to the chest.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also feel like the general player reaction there was like, I mean, he kind of had it coming.
Yeah,
Kept running into scenarios where he was gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
I think what made us laugh mostly was Josh's like, it's all right, guys. I've been here before. He literally did the James Franco first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what made me laugh the most.
Yeah.
And then again, Barrick, the hubris, the hubris being crushed.
The hubris
Yeah.
did make it funny. I ain't even gonna lie.
Right.
And then us doing the 3 for 3 with Valente, and then it not happening, and everyone going, "Oh, thank God!"
I don't even think she went down at all.
No, she
that's
didn't.
part.
Didn't no, I thought the lightning knocked her out.
No,
No, got close.
No? Oof.
Got close.
real close.
She had that paladin privilege.
Yeah.
I think Aridin went down once.
Oh yeah, my first session with the werewolves.
Yeah. And then he became a werewolf. Oh no, he didn't.
No,
Fucking
Nelson
Nelson.
did.
So fucking funny. I'm like, man, these guys are having a rough go at it. Don't worry, I'll play the cleric. Fucking werewolf beatdown. Ah!
Werewolf beat the
Oh,
fuck out of me.
now I miss Dan.
I stand too
No.
every day.
I'm just saying, Operation Glory Kill definitely still on the table.
Isaiah, we can't talk about murder on recording, sir.
What do you mean? I'm not. Look, they don't know what Operation Glory Kill means.
Listen, it's in a fantasy game. You didn't
Uh-huh.
actually murder
Uh-huh.
anybody.
Uh-huh.
You just committed some, fantasy war crimes in fantasy world. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not real. It's make believe. It's pretend land.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What about you, Isaiah? What happened? What was the deal with, or do you want to go last?
I'll go last.
All right, Matt, cough it up.
Oh god, I just brain farted. What was the question?
How did your players
How did
react
your-
when they got horribly murdered?
Oh,
Like the
so I
great
think-
joke, for example.
So the great joke, it's weird because I don't think that Joe or Nano were mad. I mean, maybe they were, but at the time, because again, when they both died, I felt so bad about it, and I'm like, all right, shit, what am I gonna do? I think they were both just like, oh, because Nano immediately after he died, he's like, hey man, he's like, the Bill Murray wizard. He did a lot of shit. I killed 2 dragons as a Bill Murray wizard. He's like, that's an achievement. I gotta do something else now. This is great. So I'm like, oh wow, okay. And then Joe, again, I've joked with you guys that like Joe's whole shtick is that he can't make a decision on the characters. So he'll constantly be trying to like switch stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. But again, he did bring Damon back, and I'll say this later. His character that dies in the 3-year game, he comes back at the end of he comes back. Don't worry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I think the 2 of them that were more excited about it, about we get the new characters, new options, all this stuff. And a couple more books had come out at the time too, so they're like, even newer options than Xanathar's. Later, and I'm saying way late in the campaign when I ended up killing Krug, the barbarian. It was at the point where the players were high enough level to be like, All right, we're just gonna scoop up his remains real quick, put it in a bucket, and we're gonna just bring him back to life. And we're gonna tell him not to do that again.
Tell him not to do
Fair.
that again.
Very fair.
Mhm.
How did
So-
the rest of the party respond?
To the great joke.
To any of them? Any and all of them?
I think the rest of the players were more. Again, like looking back now, we all laugh about it, but I think in the moment, everyone was more
A
like,
little salty.
"Oh no, not even salty." They were just like, "Oh shit, we are in such a bad situation," because of again, they were trapped in the astral sea, and the two people that could bring them back home were gone. Because at that time, the players that were trapped on the airship the wild spaceship, whatever, its ship. It was the Hexblade Warlock. No, they don't have 7th level spells. They didn't have that yet. They, multiclassing. Not the Barbarian. Not the Shadow Monk. not the Drake sidekick. So yeah, who's gonna plane shift him, guys? Yeah. Not the Paladin who got plane shifted somewhere the fuck else. So it was mostly like, fuck, not only did we, like, again, everyone at the time, shit, we lost 2 of our members and we can't get back home. Fuck. And then, yeah, Ragnar later in the campaign, he's been playing D&D longer than I've been playing. So he's like, my character, it's fine, whatever.
It do be like.
And then when the players are like, no, dude, we're like level 19. We could just bring you back. And he's like, oh,
Good
all
point.
right, cool. Yeah, sick. All right, yeah, scoop me up. Let's go.
Scoop me up, round 2, baby.
Yeah.
Bada bing.
I imagine I don't remember what the series is, but when the character gets either knocked out or dies, and then like the thing at like whatever's going on, the scene ends, and it comes back to one of the other character just slapping the shit out of their unconscious body. Like the screen pans down and you hear whack, 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 and they're just slapping the shit out of them. I feel like that's how it was for your warlock.
Maybe. Like, Krog, wake up, please.
Like, you know he's dead, right? I don't care. It makes me feel better. I mean, how was it for me? My players took it rough, for sure. They definitely took it rough. There was the air of the session was quite heavy after Ty died. And it was fascinating because, again, like, I didn't expect... I don't really know what I expected, because in the last game that we had all been in, nobody died. Like, we'd gotten really close several times, but no one had died. And that one was very much a, like... half of us had seen Critical Role for the first time, so there was a lot of melodrama going on. So there was a lot of, like... No, going on, and it was really fun, and but I didn't know how it would have been, now 5-6 years later, and it was great. Everyone immediately reverted back to their inner theater kid, despite the fact that I've never done theater, and I think most of them haven't. Yeah, it was just beautifully melodramatic, and it was... I was so proud of everybody, rolling with the punches, not getting them, like, actually upset, or, like, negatively upset, right? There's, like, a healthy upset. And then the drive I saw of their characters doing more rash, reckless things for the sake of revenge, and being like, don't give a fuck, I want payback. It was super cool. And then the fact that they went out of their way to throw a funeral for this character, and like they sent him off into the water, like a la Viking style, and they all had like a word to say. And again, there was not a dry eye, and it was the most wonderful thing, myself included. It was just such a I don't know if I could, right? Like, because I wasn't sad that like that Snubby had to make a new character, but there was like this weird influx of empathy and compassion for my friends who are on the face of it going through this really tough time. So I think I couldn't help it to some degree. And they all kind of came together in a really cool way, There was a lot of like characters being like, "You're not allowed to run off anymore. I can't lose you too." And you're like, "Oh shit, goddamn, this is getting heavy." So yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, no,
It was fascinating.
I ain't got no heavy story like that. Got nothing for you there, Chief.
Like, it's fine. I feel like what happened in my game is probably indicative of about maybe 30% of D&D games. Just the way that they're run, not really how things went. But I definitely wouldn't take it back. It was fantastic, and again, I could not have been more proud of my players.
Yeah, I don't know. I would wonder about that. Like, there's no way to know this, but the like percentage of like games that get emotional and heavy and games that don't. The interesting little thought experiment there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, what I said is 100% pure speculation.
I would imagine the percentage has gone up in more recent years of games that get sort of heavy. By nature of actual plays tend to go in that direction because it makes for good dramatic viewing.
It's good content.
Yeah. So I would imagine a lot of players are sort of getting that impression of the game, so it probably has gone up, would be my guess.
Yeah.
I, however, am a sociopath, so miss me with that shit.
Nice. Here's one that I thought was interesting. As a GM, do you try to keep your PCs from death?
Lamau.
Do you let the dice gods decide, or are you just poking them? Are you just trying to poke them as far as you can towards the edge to see what happens?
Praise Nuffle, Lord of the Dice.
So
Whatever happens.
Okay.
Let God sort him out.
yeah.
Like if you can come up with a creative way to try to avoid it, like sure, go ahead. But like otherwise, like the bag of holding with the meat cube.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, nah. Like your mistakes are your own. I try not to let you like get into a scenario. But like for instance, fucking black pudding in the pillar.
Yeah.
I looked at that pillar and said, Josh's gonna put his arm in there and I'm not gonna stop him. Like
Yeah, I mean, actual answer. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Let the dice fall where they will. I am not the kind of person who thinks you should fudge dice because like, a character dying in this fight wouldn't be dramatic. Nah, fuck it. Let it happen. The only time the time I will consider like fudging dice or making a character do something intentionally stupid or something like that is if I fuck something up and sort of misinterpreted a situation, made an encounter that was too hard, forgot to do something that I was gonna do that would have made it manageable, shit like that. But yeah, like, yeah, I mean, my motto is, well, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions, I'm not going to step in. I will say, like, if it's a scenario where someone dying is really likely, like a character character being killed or taken out in some fashion, if I think it's a scenario where it's really, really likely, I will give you the ample warning. If you're playing Blades in the Dark and you say, hey guys, we're going to do a hit on the wardens, I'm going to say to you guys, you can do a hit on the wardens. You better do real well or they will fuck you up. You know what I mean? Because they're the tier 4, or the wardens are they're like the tier 4 super badass fucking secret police in the Blade setting. And like,
yeah, they're the inspectors.
Yeah. I think the warden, there's something like that. I can't remember exactly what they're called. Something along the lines of like the wardens. So it's like, yeah, you could do the mission against them, but I will give you ample warning, like, you know, you got to be on your toes. If you're playing D&D and you're like, hey, so I know we're only level 8, but what if we tried to steal from the ancient dragon's horde in the mountain? I'll be like, if you want to try, you certainly can, but I'm not going to nerf his breath weapon just because you decide to do it at level 8. You know what I mean? If you're fucking level 3 and you decide to fuck with the king's arch wizard, she gonna finger a death you. I don't know what to tell you, bud. Like, you know what I mean?
Gonna finger you.
Yeah. You know, if you're level 3 and you roll up to Waterdeep and you mess with Sophenia, whoops, bad person to mess with. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much how I'm about with it. And assuming you sort of follow the general thread I'm giving, though, I will try and keep things within a good, reasonable range. And if it's intended to be a more difficult fight, I will usually hint at it or give some sort of, you know, nudge, be like, hey, and a lot of the time you can do that kind of stuff in game too. Like, you could have an NPC, like using the Blades example. Oh, we're going to do a hit on the fucking secret police. And one of the, like, you know, one of your gang members is like, I don't know, boss. They might fuck us up real bad if we try and do that, you know? Like, there's lots of ways you could sort of deliver it. That doesn't have to just be literally you as a GM saying it straight up. Yeah. But also, like, yeah, the unlucky crit from Gibbo Gobbo the Goblin, fucking taking out the sorcerer. The dice said so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I'm well aware many people think that's like dumb. Don't agree with that, but
I think less than you think. I think the amount of people who genuinely try to like sugarcoat the game so much to keep their players actively out of harm, I think is very low.
Well, I don't think it's sugarcoating so much as a lot of people are of the opinion. Usually they're talking about 5e when they're talking about this, because I think this is other games have mitigated this problem enough that it's less of a conversation. But a lot of people talking about 5e will say how, like, oh, when you're lower level, you can have really dumb, like, undramatic, uninteresting deaths because of like really lucky or unlucky rolls. And a lot of people say you should avoid that because it's sort of bad for the storytelling aspect. But my opinion is you might be right in that it might be not the best for the story, but that's part of the chaos of the game part. And for my money, the game part is still important, if not sometimes more important. So, like,
right.
You're a lot of people when they're saying that, you know, they're sort of prioritizing that role play part. And I'm like, no, game part. Because, you know, for me, it's like, if you just want to do a thing where you play a role and tell a story, you don't really need a game to do that. You know, if you're injecting the game part in, then presumably there's a reason you want the game part in there, you know. Or you could play a game like The Quiet Year, which is a GM-less game where you sort of tell a story about a community. Or you could play Fiasco, which is a GM-less game where you tell a story about 4 robbers getting into like a shitty situation, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, embrace the dice. Nuffle, Lord of the Dice.
Yeah, I think because I've always had this, like, whenever I talk to my players about this stuff, it's always like, you know, as a GM, it's like I am always rooting for my players. I want them to succeed. However, and also I always say, I'm not trying to kill your characters, but
the monster is.
Yeah, the Tarrasque that I just threw in front of you
is.
I'm gonna run him to try and fuck. You know, he wants to eat you guys. He wants to kill you. Me, Matt.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's also
because there's this separation. It's like, all right, what does the Tarrasque really want to do? It wants to eat you and stomp the shit out of you.
What's that thing, Matt? Maybe you'll remember. Matt Colville did a video a while ago talking about like, it's okay to have. It's okay for like bad shit to happen in your game so long as it sort of makes sense. You know, so like, for example, if your players are fighting the ancient dragon and the ancient dragon realizes that the cleric is the healer, and the ancient dragon goes, oh, okay, I'm going to kill him first. That is a tactically reasonable thing that an incredibly smart dragon would do. So your players are not going to be mad about that.
I told you guys that really happened in the Storm King's Thunder game, where we're fighting Imrith, the blue dragon
lady,
magic user.
Yeah.
And literally, because she knows our party for a while, she
knows who to target.
Yeah, she knows who to target, and then ended up killing the cleric.
Yeah. Whereas if you have a pack of 6 wolves and the 6 wolves only target the cleric and the 6 wolves fight to the death and never ever run away or break formation in any fashion, your players are going to be like, that's dumb. They're wolves. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Right. So as long as the verisimilitude checks out, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing with the focusing down a player, you have to be really smart about it, because like if the dragon hits you all 3 times on its turn, and then every resounding legendary action is to try to kill you, that's just gonna feel shitty for the player.
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
You have to be smart about it.
Well,
yeah, you focus a lot. You I would say 75%, if not 60%, on that one player, and then let's say the barbarian is whacking the dragon in the backside. Then the dragon's like, all right, well, I guess I'll use my tail action to just get rid of this fucking gnat so I can keep focusing on the cleric.
Yeah, well, the specific example of focusing down a player isn't really the point I was making.
No, I know it's not. I was saying for the viewers. The
point I'm making is that you have to play the world in such a fashion that what happens makes a consistent sense within the universe you're in. That's really the crux
follow
of
an
it.
internal logic.
Yeah, it has. That's why. That's why the idea of it's that fine line. It's kind of what I was talking about, where you're warning your players. There has to be the internal logic of, would your players have that information? Is there someone that could reasonably give it to them? Does it all check out? Because as soon as you start showing your hand too much in regards to the idea of the sugar coating or going the opposite direction, right? If you show the GM hand too much and it feels like you're just doing GM fiat shit, that's when players get mad. Players don't get mad if their character dies in the epic fight with the dragon. Players get mad if their character dies because they fell into a 300-foot pit trap and there was literally no indicator, no way to know, no way to deal with it, just nothing. They just fall in the pit, right? That's the whole rock.
It's why does the dragon have all these fucking pit traps all over the place?
That's the whole
boss room.
That's the whole rocks fall on you and you die joke, right? The reason that's a joke is because that's a shitty maneuver. Whereas if the player falls off a cliff they were trying to climb, nobody's going to get mad about that because, I was climbing a cliff. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, also same thing again. I tell my players, listen, the monster wants to kill you, not me. I'm not trying to design encounters to I want you guys to be challenged, but again, I'm not trying to murder the shit out of you. The monster might. But I also roll out in the open, so let chaos take the world,
Well, also, and there's certain types of enemies that will want to actively kill you and some that won't,
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing. And different kinds of games will sort of call for different styles of play. If you're playing a Cyberpunk-esque game and the enemies down the hall shoot one of your teammates goes down, falls unconscious behind cover, the security guards are not going to then run down the end of the hall to make sure they stab that dying player in the neck with a knife. Because they'd be running into bullet fire. So they're going to continue to shoot at the people who are still up. That is a good logical scenario. You know?
The Matt Colville example is the bugbear knocks out one of your friends and then he picks the body up and uses it as a hostage. It's if it's a smart creature, if it's a wolf, wolf's not going to do that. But bugbear, something that can has common sense. Yeah.
And it's also tonally too. It can often matter, right? Like a cyberpunk game versus a fantasy game versus a fucking sci-fi game. There's a lot of tonal tropes to pull on and shit there. It's you're not going to be watching Star Wars and someone's going to take a random blaster bolt to the dome and then just conk out off screen, right? That would be very totally off. So staying within the sort of consistent, which by the way, is why the Fantasy Flight Star Wars game has a whole critical wound situation. So you can get shot in the chest and go down, but not be dead, because it's totally off brand. Whereas in Cyberpunk, that makes complete sense if you just get domed in the head randomly sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sit like firmly in the let dice do what they may. Like I don't, kind of like Matt said, I don't want my players to die. And if like I'll try to keep them from dying if their action was directly because I didn't explain something well enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you actively
Yeah.
fucked up, that's the scenario.
That's on you. Yeah.
Where it becomes different.
Yeah, I mainly asked this question because, you know, when Ant was like, I'm gonna roll to blow them up with my ice powers, I was like, all right, well, fucking you. This is not my devil's bargain to you. This is your devil's bargain to me, right? Like
Right.
this is you've
Yeah.
chosen this, and apparently what you've chosen was violence. But when Snubby had jumped in, was there for less than 10 minutes and was like, oh, I'll do this. I for a minute, like for about 30 seconds, I sat there being like, is there a way I can save Ty? Is there any way I can save her character? Because this seems unfair, right? And that's kind of what caught me, because I thought about it and I was like, yeah, well, having some like being murdered is unfair, right? There's no way for this to not feel unfair. So maybe play into it. You know?
My question would be as long as she was making an informed decision, then it's fine. Like if she had jumped in,
of
if she had
course.
jumped in 10 minutes before and then she had said, oh, I'm going to use this ability to jump in, and you didn't tell her about the whole, this is an auto die scenario, that would be shitty. But assuming she had that information, then she is making an informed decision, then you go, okay, consequences of your own actions.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, yeah, as long as players are informed, you can get away with some really brutal shit as long as players have that forethought information. This is actually slightly relating to the topic I think I'm going to do next time. Now I'm thinking about it. It's, you know, it's that thing where it's like, it feels shitty if you're playing Dark Souls and you walk 2 steps forward and then the floor disappears for no discernible reason. It feels slightly less shitty if you walk 2 steps forward and the floor disappears, but up until that point, there had been weird magical floors the entire time. And you're like, all right, well, there's a certain amount of information I had there that I was ignoring or not paying attention to. You know? Shit, I had another thing I was gonna fuck brain. Right. Oh, maybe this is a little spicy. Maybe I don't know if I want it.
Yeah, go for it. I will say, Josh, because the last couple of times you've done that,
I know.
they've not been spicy takes. That's what I want to see.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say the last time I've done that, everybody got mad at me.
No. I mean, last time you said I shouldn't say this. I think this is a hot take. They've not been hot takes. That's why I'm like,
Such
yeah,
as?
no, say it. Fuck it. Oh, what was the last? Oh god, the last one. It was oh god, now I'm trying. Now, fuck. I like brain turned off. Thanks.
I don't know. Okay. Well, everyone makes the statement, I am not trying to kill you as the GM, right?
You'd hope.
Maybe sometimes I am. Maybe sometimes I think it would be interesting for a character to die in a particular scenario.
I don't know if that's a hot take. I think presenting them with a threat, knowing that threat could like result in a death. I don't know if that's going out of your way.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying a little bit. There have been times where I think, oh, it'd be real cool if I killed one of the characters right now. This would be a good time for one of the characters to die, and I should actively try to. I've had that thought.
Have you acted on it?
I don't think so. Nothing's immediately coming to mind.
Then you're good.
But like, I don't know. really what I'm pushing it back against is the idea that like, oh, a GM can never, ever, 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 ever be antagonistic. I'm like, well, sometimes you can be. It's part of it's part of the fun at your side of the table. Because the reason I say this is because players are antagonistic to the GM all the time. Because they sort of have to be, because the power structure is so, leveraged in the GM side, right? So you're sort of being antagonistic to the GM out of like a necessity. And when I say that, I don't mean as a person. I mean like, as the game master, as an entity. So, sometimes it's okay to, maybe be a little antagonistic back as the GM is a little bit of your fun on the table. Obviously, you can't be doing it all the time because that, could get out of hand.
I don't know. I don't like the word antagonistic, but like there are times where you can like mess with the players or pull some things like
That's antagonism.
Well, no, because antagonism is more of like mean-spirited or aggressive.
No.
At least that's how I think of it.
Well, so I think Josh means antagonistic in the literal, like, definitive form of the word, right? Where you were just opposing them.
A person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something.
Yeah, the hostile bit. That's what I mean.
Well, hostile.
That's why
hostile doesn't mean mean or aggressive necessarily. Hostile just means I'm going against what you want. It doesn't have to be like this is. You can have an antagonist in like a story or a narrative who is not actively hostile or has any ill will towards the main character, but they're actively not actively angry or has any ill will towards the main character, but they're actively pushing against the main character for some reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be mean.
No, it doesn't have to be mean, but most of the time when you talk to people online or anything about antagonistic DMs, English, Matt. Most of the time it's a negative connotation. It's the DM who is actively trying to kill players, is actively ruining the game for the players on the player's side because they want to win.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that that's how it is all the time. But when you talk to people through, Discord, Reddit, whatever, online, that's the idea that most people get when it comes to antagonistic DMs.
What I'm saying is those people are throwing the baby out with the bathwater a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Because I think the idea of a little bit of antagonism in both directions can have an aspect of fun. And the real difference, the main difference is the intent behind it, right? Because if you're sort of being antagonistic to the players as a GM, the intent is probably, you have some sort of it's a little jab, you have a fun idea, it's a little something to spice things up. You're not doing it with the intent of, I'm going to make sure they have a bad time. That's like a totally different thing.
I know. I'm just saying, unfortunately, most cases when people say this, that's not how it is.
No, I know, but I'm pushing against the declarative statements because I have, anytime anyone says you should never ever do this and you should always do this. I don't like nevers and I don't like always because it almost always becomes a throwing the baby out with the bathwater situation when you make those statements. There's no way to get out of that sentence trap I put myself in.
No.
Yeah.
Got him.
There was no getting out of that. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? So like anytime someone's like, GM should never ever be antagonistic, it's like, well, it's about the intent.
Yeah, I mean, the intent and the execution are very important.
Yeah.
Do it like, if it doesn't feel like the GM is like shitting on you, then you're good. That's the circle. That's the square you really got to circle. Like, if it feels like a fuck you from the GM, then it hasn't been done right. You know what I mean?
Yes, devil's advocate. There may even be an argument for something like the Tomb of Horrors. I can't think of it at the moment, but someone may have made an argument for that sort of thing.
Maybe I
don't
like,
know, because that was very intentionally made with intent to like you're gonna have a bad time.
Well, Gary specifically made it not to antagonize the characters. It was to antagonize the players, the human beings, and being like, fuck you, use your brains. Don't look at your character sheet. I'm challenging you. And it's like, Gary, I wanted to play dice.
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
But like, there's maybe an argument you can kind of see what he's getting at there, you know? Like, I don't know. Okay. I mean, he didn't do it right, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the unfortunate crux is that it didn't feel like he did it very well.
No, but I would love to, man. I'd love to know though, like sitting and watching that game afterward. How did those players feel? Did they have fun? Did they not have fun? Did they feel
Probably not.
addictive? I really would. I would love to know.
There's a couple of different books by Gary on like, you know, creating D&D and shit. I think someone actually turned it into a comic too.
I want to be there with those players. Like, not, I want to hear, because Gary's secondhand, right? I want to know what those players were thinking at the end of that. You know what I mean? There's no way to know, but it would be interesting.
Well, no, look up. There's interviews with his son who played in his game. Right?
Was he in that particular The Tomb of Horrors situation, though?
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
because his son was in a lot of his games.
It's someone I want to hear from someone who's alive who was in The Tomb of Horrors game. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. I don't know. What a fucking. I'm not defending my statement. I'm not defending my statement. Fuck your players. Beat them up. Fuck it. I'm gonna just double down.
Gosh, take away their magic items, minus their character levels.
Oh god, that shit. That shit was brutal. Back in the day.
Yeah, I keep joking because my players, they're level 4 right now, and they're like, Matt, level 5. It's so much shit's gonna happen. I can't wait. And I'm like, you know what, guys? Let's just go back to level 3. I think we were having a better time at level 3.
Guys, I found this cool homebrew dragon that has a level down breath.
That every time, like, all my players are like, no, Matt, please, I need level 5. Especially my buddy Wolf, who's, you know, again, the multi-classer. He's 2 levels of one thing, 2 levels of another thing. He's like, Matt, I just want to hit level 3, please.
God damn it.
And I'm like, no, guys, let's go back. Let's go back.
Level down.
Let's just level 3, then level 2. Let's just.
Y'all ever heard of level drain? It's a great time.
No. Please no.
Oh my god.
Right.
Here's one that I think, I don't think it'll be too long, but
says,
what are your general thoughts on the resilience of 5e characters? Wish it was like closer to earlier versions of the game?
Hell yeah, crush them into the dirt.
Actual consensus on that one?
I think 5e characters are way too durable.
They are. I also had level 2, 1 and 2. I think characters, again, with the dice and everything, you can easily kill a character just by looking at them. Level 3 and afterwards, yeah, they're too resilient.
Yeah.
100%.
I wouldn't even say that they're too resilient. I would say it's too easy for them to just get back up.
That too.
There needs to be
now have healing spells or some sort of
something
nonsense,
needs to give. Yeah, it's either they're too resilient, they get back up too fast, or too easily. I think the problem is that the things, most of the shit that the GM can do will often just feel like minor setbacks as opposed to like actual problems. It's very hard to give the players in 5e or the characters in 5e like actual genuine, oh shit, this is a problem, like, you know, this is getting tense kind of thing, you know, like, not that I'm saying this mechanic should be in 5e, but to give an example, in Cyberpunk Red, you know, your character becomes more and more badass as you get more skills and stuff, but there's always the chance, because your health doesn't ever really go up. In fact, I don't know if you can increase your health at all in Cyberpunk Red, because there's no levels. There might be cyberware.
Cyberware or something, yeah.
So because your health isn't ever going to really go up, session 1 to session 30, you know, a stray bullet could take you out, like a good crit from a sniper rifle could take you out at any point. You know, that's sort of always on the table. So even when you're a super badass, you still have to be worried. You still have to, like, pay attention to the potential problems. Whereas in 5e, you get to a certain point where it's like, all right, there's an incredibly small amount of things that could threaten me, and everything else I could just crush into the dirt. You know, I mean, like, Django's AC being a very good example. The only way I'm threatening Django is with, like, some sort of save attacks. right? Like you have to save against something specific, and it has to be whatever Django's lowest stat is, which I don't actually remember.
Gosh, I'm telling you, man, cooking book, just the heat metal, run away, man. He can't do anything.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. There's a couple of
He
things.
can't take off his metal skin.
There's the heat metal type situation. There's the saves type thing, right? There's a couple of things that will potentially threaten Django, and anything outside of those potential things is like Django will most likely just stomp it into the dirt, you know? So yeah, like there's something needs to give somewhere in 5e. I think there's just too much. Players can just get too comfortable. And you know, and I'm not even saying this because like I as the GM you know want to like crush the players or anything, but it also gets boring as a player because you become so invincible that, you know, the tension, the threat goes away, and it's actually bad on the player side too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you want that
it's the
threat.
Skyrim method, you know. I'm king of the mountain. Now what?
Yeah,
Fuck.
now I'm fucking bored. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like there needs to be some sort of ramp up. And you know, you could even do a thing where you have the ramp of danger could be like a hill type situation. So it's like levels 1 to 3, it's dangerous. You know, levels 3 to 5, you're more resilient. Once you crest over level 5 and you hit level 6, it gets dangerous for a little while, but then you get to be at the top for a little while and rest, and then it gets dangerous again at level 10. You know, like you could do like every tier of play, that initial bump up, there's like a little bit of a difficulty spike or something like that. Like there's I don't know how I would do it with 5e, but you know, there's options, but for sure I think something needs to move. I also, quite frankly, goddamn, HP gets so silly, and to think that HP used to get even more ridiculous in older editions is mind-blowing. Like, them numbers get thick, you know, because the players have 100 HP, and then the enemies have 100 HP, or it's a big boss enemy, so it's got 400 HP. It's like, oh my god. So it's fucking, the HP is just...
Well, I told you guys about that math thing I recently did with, like, my players, where I'm like, I looked at, like, all right, what are my players like? You know, damage per round, what are their ACs, and then compared to like a monster. And it's like, all right, so for a monster to not die within the first turn, if it's just a single monster, it has to have over 100 and some shit health.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm currently working in a situation because there's no way to bring people back in Hellscapes, but personally, I'm fine with the way things are. I don't particularly see a huge problem with it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a huge problem. I don't particularly care that it's hard to kill players because it's not really my goal. And the more resilient they are, the more I can poke at them.
Yeah, but again,
see what happens.
The main problem is less about it being a goal or anything like that. It's the tension, all the tension being non-existent. That's the real problem. It becomes so hard to push, to ratchet up the tension and the drama because of how durable players are and because they have so many ways to get. And it's not just about like big HP numbers or big AC. It's also about like abilities of spells, you know, their damage output, like the way they could potentially capitalize on action economy. You know, there's all sorts of things. It's not one individual thing. You know, the fact that a druid could just like shit all over the action economy and just own the land. You know what I mean? Like
now I'm a dragon. Now I'm a beholder.
Yeah.
Now I'm me.
Yeah.
Now I'm a beholder again.
Yeah. You know, that's the big thing for me is that tension issue. You know, it's just...
I think I can have the tension still. I think you just have to...
Literally how? I'm sorry, but I can't. How? I can't...
You just have to ratchet up some combat a little bit.
Last session for us.
There was no tension last session. You guys were never going to lose that
fight. What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Listen, you go into every single fight saying they're going to stomp this. Every single fight. And that's your problem with tension because you have no, hold on, let me finish. Listen, you have expectations of how we're going to handle things.
Yes.
We don't have that expectation because we just sit there and we go, oh, that fucking sucks. How are we going to deal with that? Okay. And then we have to figure out, like, like if we didn't have the dragon potion, Josh, I know that you think that we would have dealt with that, but if you were actually playing a dragon, like we would, but what are we going to do? We had one dimension door. We have one ranged option
and no way of actually reaching the dragon.
Because it was flying. Oh,
it could fly.
So
So there are so many little things that like there's a lot of tension for us as players.
Well,
just because you're the DM and you see every little thing like he's got like 2 HP left.
Sure, that's kind of the thing.
Tension, but like
well, that's the
problem. Did
problem.
you ever grab a player, fly up, and then drop them?
I smashed them into the ceiling.
Nice.
Because they teleported onto the dragon's back.
I think the key to tension comes from just the poking and prodding at weak spots.
Well,
right?
here's the thing. You got, you said there was tension in the last fight, and you're right, Sam. I have more information, and ergo, because I have that more information, I can look at that situation and go, oh, well, they're fine. Like I could look at it and statistically, not statistically, like I could look at the math and go, oh, they're gonna be fine, and I know they're gonna be fine. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess perceived tension on the player could be different.
It's absolutely different.
Yeah, I would say
when Zephyr went
is.
down, it went, oh no, like literally, I was like, okay, so we need to, because he's the only one with ranged healing, we have to stop what we're doing or kill him faster. And then he teleported away, and we were like,
well,
okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
that's
also
a source of tension.
But also,
like, just a player going down, especially when you have less people, because some people run 6-player games.
Oh yeah, I mean, 6-player games, I don't even know. That's a whole other. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. So like, the more players you have, of course there's gonna be less tension unless you're like actually just throwing nukes at your players. But like, when you have 3 or 4 players, I think, especially with like, the party that we have, the classes that we're playing, it is very easy for us to have any sort of tension the second any character goes down, because it's like, sure, we have 3 people that can heal on a whim, just like that, but like, we also have to stop everything that we're doing, especially if Zephyr goes down. Like that's just that right there is like the oh shit moment.
Yeah, for me, tension builds really hard when things don't attack me, when like I throw myself directly at them and they just circumvent, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do now. Shit. Fuck. Do I reposition? Do I go back and support? Do I stay here and just pester them until they come back? Like, there's a lot of thinking I have to do in that moment, which is often why I feel like my turns probably take a little longer than other people's. So like, shit, I have so much stuff on my sheet I have to figure out.
All right, I'm not gonna go down that particular rabbit hole, Isaiah, because I feel like we're just gonna start arguing. But sure, I mean, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, like I'm thinking about last session, and it's like, yeah, but at the same time, you guys all ended with over half health at the end of the fight, like all of you.
Again, that, and I said this when we were playing, that took like 3 turns of healing.
Sure, but it's still,
without the boss monster doing anything.
It's still a factor, I feel like. Well, because here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing, right? This is the extra peek behind the GM. I have more information. The boss monster didn't do anything because he was really, really, I think he had like 50 HP left, if that, right? So
that's fine and all.
Like, well, hold on. What I'm saying is, the reason he didn't do anything for those turns is because he was going to die if he did do anything. If he just attacked you, you guys would have killed him in like the next turn. So
I understand that, but you're literally taking this information. Okay, you're saying, oh, he would have died. Okay, if he had died, we wouldn't have had more than half HP.
Right, but my point is
like my point is that either way, that turn that he took, that those 2-3 turns, whatever, that literally we were just standing there and waiting for him to come, and like not even thinking about what to do, but like just healing, like that's tense, because even with the healing, we know that he can just stun us for an entire turn and beat the shit out of us and take us like Zephyr down or Kai down or Django down or Leah down. It doesn't matter. That's still tense.
Still,
like again, you're
Mexican
using this
standoff.
information like especially like the half health doesn't matter because again, that was a lot of healing that we dumped.
You're right. The half health
Like-
doesn't necessarily matter, but what I'm saying is whether you guys topped up with healing or he attacked you and went down in the next turn or two, you guys would have gotten away. You would have been getting. My point was, I knew at that point I was like, they're gonna be fine either way, right? That's the thing. Is like I knew.
Yeah, and
They're
again,
gonna
you're a
be fine either way.
DM. That doesn't like DM tension is completely different from player tension.
Okay, but then I guess my argument, or not my argument, but I guess my problem then is, it still feels. It's like, okay, so the game is more boring for me on the GM side of the screen because.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean?
think
Like it feels kind of shit because like, okay, so for your standpoint, yeah, you lack a certain amount of information. So I guess that does make things a little more tense. But then it's like, yeah. And then you're sitting there as a GM being like, yeah, but I know how strong my players are. And I know how strong characters in this game are. So like they're tense, but I'm sitting here like, meh, they'll be fine.
Well, I
I
think.
mean,
the-
that's yeah. Go
Go on,
for it. No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that's fine to be honest.
It's boring though. It's not, I don't feel like it's fine. I
well,
feel
at
like
the
it's
end of the
boring for
day,
me.
if yeah, but at the end of the day, if your players, again, if the players felt the tension, you did your job.
I don't
You
care about
did-
doing my
you did
job.
the
I
thing.
care about having fun. This okay? See, but
Well, that's part of the. Yeah, I know. I get the fun.
Like,
Yeah, Josh.
because-
DMs are players too. I'm 100% with you on that.
well, because part of the
DMs are.
the fun is the unknown, is the like what's gonna happen, and a lot of the time with 5e, you could crunch out the number and go, oh well, I know what's gonna happen, and then, you know, you're kind of sitting there, like, you know. So I guess then maybe the problem is not necessarily that the characters are too I don't know exactly how. Maybe I'm looking at a symptom that's not actually the problem. I don't know, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying, that yes, from your guys' standpoint it was a different vibe. So now that makes me be like, okay, I don't know, it just feels shitty to be like, you guys basically had more fun with it than I did, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think for me, I garner a lot of my fun by, again, I poke at the players. You know, I know that they probably are going to win, and more often than not, yeah, they probably are going to be more well off than they think than they will be. But I'm going to get as much as I can out of those little moments, you know? Like the trying to think of one that happened in our game. The severe fireballing the automatons. Like, you knew that was gonna happen, or like, you know, maybe you didn't know that was gonna happen.
well,
maybe like
no,
just
so
shoot
that's
people.
the funny thing. I didn't, because remember, I forgot they were immune to fire. That's why that was a funny moment, because I said it after
So-
it happened. Right?
So I think so this kind of contradicts what you said earlier about being antagonistic towards your players. I think the problem here is that when you're designing a fight, there's no fun factor to it for you. That's what it seems like. Like, oh, you might be like, oh, this is cool, but like the fight, when I design a fight, I design or think about it in such a way that how am I going to have fun with my players? Not like how am I going to dunk on my players, or how am I going to do this or whatever. Like that especially comes into play when I design any homebrew monster. I really just want to be like, all right, how do I get a wow factor out of my players? Because that's what I like to do. That's like what I like to see. We're gonna laugh, but like, you know, that's besides the point. So not having that design intention, it could ruin the experience for you.
Well,
this is just me speaking, not speaking out of my ass, but like speaking from the context that you're giving, that it seems like you're just like you're designing an encounter and then not having fun with it.
no, it's not that I'm not having fun. Like there's parts about any individual like difficult encounter that I think are going to be cool or fun, but I still want to be a part of the unknown aspect. And at least with 5e, it becomes kind of hard because of the way the math and just the mechanics of the game work out. So it's like, it'll be fun, like in the beginning. Like for example, it'll be fun in the beginning when the dragon breath weapons you all fail to save, and it's like, okay, that was unexpected. I did not think all 4 players were gonna fail this save. That's some wacky woohoo shit. That's like some good fun like chaos. Like, whoa, I wasn't ready. But you can only, you can't keep that up really with 5e because of how strong the player characters can get. Or at least I feel like that's the reason why. That may not be the reason why. There may be something else going on there that I'm, again, not noticing or not realizing. I don't know. But
I mean, another thing that can influence that, and this is against the unknown, quote unquote, is fudging numbers.
Yeah, I was thinking just that. Yeah.
Like you can take away like so here's my thing. So if you were like, okay, I want to do something big with the dragon for his last turn or whatever, just do it.
yeah,
Genuinely just do it. Don't be like, all right, like you don't have to be like fair for that last moment. If you want something to be dramatic, and like and listeners, please take this with a grain of salt and like the decision making. Like just if you want something to be really dramatic, you can just make it dramatic. You are the DM. You don't have to be like, well, I am beholden to the rules because I am a good boy. Like you just go, oh well, you know what? Listen. It's his last. I say his last breath attack. It's his last gambit, I'll just have him do it. What's the point of me not having him do it rather than just him, falling out of the ceiling and getting his ass kicked,
But I mean, you're not wrong, but it is also literally against the random part. So now it's very conflicting.
Well, I think that ties into what I was saying, right? Is you have to find a healthy balance of being part of the random chaos and just prodding at your characters to see how they react, right? Like they are the bacteria under the microscope, and you're just introducing new variables to see how they react to it. Like for me, I would have just given the dragon his breath. I would have been like, oh yeah, look at that, he magically rolled a 5 or 6 to get his breath weapon back. And then busted out of the floor and breath weaponed all of us at point blank.
Yeah.
And then
I know, and that's exactly what I was thinking too. But you rolled a 4 3 turns in a row.
Yeah. And like the rest of us could get our attacks opportunity, probably kill him, right? Just because our held actions would go before him. But then you could be like, well, because he's coming out of the ground, you're getting hit anyway. And let's say it dropped to like 3 people. The dragon's dead. We got 3 people down, and that's everyone going, "Fuck," Like,
yeah, I just had a thought too. I don't know what Sam said that spurred this into my brain, but or maybe Isaiah. I don't know. One of you said something that just spurred this into my brain. Part of this problem may also be not playing in person.
Yeah,
because
no, absolutely.
I just realized as I was thinking about it, because you and Isaiah both said, like, oh, what are you talking about? That fight was tense as hell. And I'm like, what? Did we play the same session? Because I didn't feel that at all. But I'm realizing part of that problem is I can't get any facial read or emotional expression from any of you. So then it becomes much harder for me to register that. So that may be part of it too. Like if I was seeing reaction in the room, I may have been a lot more like, oh, this is doing what I want. Because I did want it to be like a scary fight, So I don't know. To add it to the list of reasons, I guess, that I'm shitting on 5e. I don't know. It's not really a shit on 5e.
I think it's more of a shit on virtual tabletop, but
no. Well, it's a I I mean, going back to the original crux of the whole thing, I also generally like games where players are not as resilient. You know, like, I mean, we talked about the like low fantasy and high fantasy stuff. You know, I generally prefer the lower, like, you know, I kind of like the idea of like a stray crossbow bolt can like fuck you up real bad or almost kill you kind of thing.
You see, it's funny. I hate that shit. Like, the reason why I like Cyberpunk is like there's a chance that it could happen, but you're also really powerful in of yourself because you can be all
well, yeah, that's what I'm
up.
talking about. I'm talking about in the sense of Cyberpunk. I'm not saying the player is useless and like
You're not talking about Warhammer Fantasy.
I mean, I don't know enough about Warhammer Fantasy, but what I mean is like, yeah, I like the idea that like you're a super cool badass, but things could potentially go really bad or unlucky, just like, you know, because shit's kind of brutal like that. You know what I mean? But I do think there also should be mechanics to modulate that sort of thing. So like a sort of mercy rule type thing, you know, for example, if a character gets crit once, have a rule where they can't get crit again or something, you know, shit like that. I do think that kind of stuff probably also should be in there. If I remember correctly, Star Wars had something along those lines. Don't remember exactly what it was, but also Star Wars had Force dice, which would allowed you to modulate it in your favor and stuff, you know. So I do think, you know, it should go both ways. Where are we? What dimension am I in? Why are you letting me talk still?
Oh, don't worry. We're on the last question.
Last question.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I came prepared. Don't you worry. How do you handle the like oh so evasive last words that are usually not awarded to PCs when they die?
Just let them have it.
I know I wish in the 3-year game I let my players do it. I didn't. Like when Joe's character, Nano's character died, it was just kind of like, you know, all right, oh shit, it happened. There's so much shit going on.
Yeah.
So I wish I ended up doing that in the moment. I think it would have been cool. And I think if it happened to my Strixhaven game, I'd probably do it.
Fair enough. I sort of meant like do you do it at all? If you don't, well, you know, why? But and not like a, you know, obviously not a judgmental why, but like what's going on in your brain right now? Why? Like for me, because it's pretty quick. Like, and I've thought about this before Ty died, because I've thought Ty was going to die quite frequently actually. I probably would have handled it as you go down, you go unconscious as usual, and then you're dead for the sake of the rules, right? Like,
yeah.
But once the scene ends, your character's like, it's the, hey bud, wake up, and it's like, and dies, you know? There's like but even then I feel like I said earlier, I've thought about as well, just being like, well, you're not unconscious, but you're like fading, you know? Like you could probably speak some small sentences and be like, aim for the heart or shit like that. Because that's just more interesting to me than being like, okay, cool, you're unconscious, you can't do anything, you can't say anything, you can't interact with the party in any way. Oh no, you're dead? Oh yeah, now you're just gone, bud. Sorry, bud. That's it. That's all you get. No goodbye to your best friend / love interest / child. Like you're just over. And like, yeah, that's realistic in some level, but like,
yeah, I mean, yeah,
who gives a fuck? You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, let them do it if they want to.
I think it just depends on the scenario. Like, you know, if they get meat cubed or not.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah, if they get meat cubed, then sorry, bud, you got nothing. But
yeah. I mean, I see. A lot of the time, I don't even think players necessarily want to do that scene, but if they want it, I don't see any reason not to let them. Right?
I don't know. For me, like,
do people argue against this?
Well, I've definitely seen people be like, no, I'm sorry, you're dead. Like, the world isn't like, you know, someone very specifically, I believe it was on Reddit, was like, the world doesn't always give you happy endings, you're dead, so you're just dead. And then you know, in my head, I went, that's kind of fucked, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I mean,
maybe it was on Twitter. It was when I was looking for my 5e bad takes. Yeah. Somebody was like, well, that's the dice, sucks to suck, get over it.
I do think
that's not the answer.
It's also brain. I do think it also changes a little based on game type, you know, and tone of game. In Mad Max, or Cyberpunk, if that sort of thing is like, well, you're just fucking dead loser, you're like, all right, well, that's kind of on brand. But in D&D, it does feel a little shittier because heroic fantasy doesn't tend to go that way. So I think that's a factor in it. But for the most part, if the player wants to do it, then I don't see any reason not let them. You know?
Yeah, fair.
I think it's pretty simple and straightforward on that one.
No, I figured we'd all have like pretty similar ideas on this, but I was curious just in case there was well, actually, I think
No, I
X,
don't
Y,
have
or
a-
Z.
No, Josh doesn't have a hot take on this.
I didn't think you specifically, just sort of anybody.
I know, but I seem just what he usually does.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be that way sometimes.
I mean, just stop having hot takes, Forehead. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, look, I considered
Just
being
conform to the narrative.
I considered being mute this entire episode, so you know.
Yeah, well. Josh, do you wanna?
Fuck, we forgot to do the thing at the beginning again. God damn it.
No, I mean, I kind of was just like, yeah. Do you want to tell the nice people where they can find us?
I don't know. Where are we? Who are you people? I don't know any of you.
What?
Literally, who are you?
All right,
Marty, I'm
just-
scared.
Don't be scared. You're not. Be not afraid, my child.
Who are you people? Yeah, I don't know. Follow us on whatever podcast platform you're listening on currently. To, you know, see the episodes when they go up. Hit the follow button on the Angry Twitter Bird, the Boo Bird app, if you has one of those. To stay up to date and to leave a comment, please. Please. Please,
Russ?
Russ. And if you think my hot takes are dumb, just tell me. Tell me in the comment section. Bang, bang, boom.
Got him.
Yeah, that's been us. Back next week where one of us is gonna. I don't remember. I don't get paid for that.
Someone will say something.
None of us get paid.
It would.
No, it's-
Matt would be the person in question.
Yeah, no,
That
no.
someone is me, and I will be saying something.
Ah, perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. No one
You
gets
better
paid.
open-
Our totally real, totally not real Patreon definitely doesn't exist. No one's getting paid. Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. Matt, you better open with the word something. That should
Oh
be the
boy,
first
I
word.
definitely will.
Oh no. All right, fuckers. Good night.
Something. Roll D20. Something. Critical hit.